Hey guys, welcome into another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm James Haskell here with my co-host, as always, Glenn Martin. We're excited for this series of videos to be coming out and to continue to roll on. We are looking around the AFC North, and we are breaking out the position battles. Make sure you go take a look at our quarterback video, and then go ahead and subscribe. That way you can see all of these as these position groups videos come out. We're ranking them 1 through 4, of course, from best to worst. So today we are focused on the running backs. And I tell you what, as I look around the AFC North, the running back rooms in every franchise are really good. Some, have some more health issues than others. Some have some more depth than others. But this is going to be an interesting one. I'm interested to see where you go, Glenn, and if ours line up. So why don't you go ahead and kick us off with your number 4, and then I'll provide you with my number 4, and we'll go in that sequential order.
All right. So to me, you mentioned that the rooms were really impressive from a running back standpoint in the AFC North, and I agree with you. Outside of one room, because the Pittsburgh Steelers, to me, are by far and away the fourth, and they're dead last in running back rooms when you look around. Now, look, I'm an Anthony McFarland guy. I like Anthony McFarland. Obviously, I'm a Terp fan, so I have a soft spot for any Terp. But James Conner, Jalen Samuels, Anthony McFarland are like the ones, and then Benny Snell, you can throw him in there. And there's a bunch of guys. I mean, they got Trey Edmonds. But to me, if I think about who's going to make the team, I go with Conner, Samuels, McFarland, because most teams typically keep 3. If they were to keep 4, I guess Benny Snell will get thrown in there, or you could pick a 4th. But James Conner has not shown that he can stay healthy consistently. When he's in there, he's not been bad. He's even had a stretch where he was really good, but he hasn't been healthy. He's had, even when he was healthy, he had times where he was ineffective. So I can't put him up there in the upper echelon of AFC North running backs when, look, this division has got a lot of good running backs in it. So to me, they're the clear-cut number 4, and they have a long way to get up to one of the top 3.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not even going to add much to that. It's just crazy to think what a year does, because going into the season last year, I've mentioned this before, I made the ultimate blunder of taking James Conner as my second pick in our fantasy draft league. It did not pan out for me. It's just health has been his issue, like you said, he's not consistently available, and last year he was on and off the field. It was weird because you could tell he wasn't healthy and wasn't really helping the team. And so, yeah, clear-cut number 4 on my list as well. Interested to see where you go here, because this is where it already gets interesting.
Yeah, because let me tell you, you could make a case for any of these last 3 the other 3 teams to be your number 1, 2, or 3 spot as far as running back rooms, because they're all good. And so we had to be kind of picky, I guess, in certain ways. But for me, the number 3 running back room in the North is the Cincinnati Bengals. And let me tell you, it's a good number 3, because Joe Mixon is a heck of a player. Very, very good player. A player that's given the Ravens fits in the past. And then his change of pace back that they throw in, Giovanni Bernard, has been a good player for a long time. He's a shifty guy, a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can make you miss in small areas. So to me, when you look at that 1-2 punch of Mixon and Giovanni Bernard, it's pretty good. And then they I believe they got Samaje Perine also backing up. I don't know if he's gonna. Look at me. I'm starting up videos. I don't know if he's going to make the team, but it'll be interesting to see who that third guy is. But I think when you look at 1 and 2, Mixon, Bernard, that's not bad. You're not going to be unhappy going into a game or a season with those 2 guys leading your running back room.
Yeah, I agree with you. People might blow me up for this, but I think that in the open field, as far as running back goes, Giovanni Bernard, when he's getting a dump-off pass, might be one of the most dangerous guys out there. He's been doing it for a long time. I realize he's not as young as he used to be. But in the open field, he is a really hard one to take down in a one-on-one scenario. So Mixon, like you said, is their bell cow, but having the combination of the 2 is definitely dangerous. And it just shows that we have them 3rd out of 4 in the AFC North. In a lot of other divisions, they might be the best running back combination in the division. Might be the best, but we just have a lot of good ones, like you said. So I have the same them. I have the same ranking for them. We'll be interested. I'll be interested to see how that turns out this season. But their number 1 and 2 guys are really good. There's a fall off there at 3 and 4, which I think is also important, especially at 3. But let's keep this thing going. Glenn, why don't you Paul Revere? Why don't you reveal your number 2?
All right, so for this position, or for this ranking, we had 2 teams left. We got the Ravens, we got the Browns. So both of them, to me, are in the top of the NFL as far as running back rooms. They both have not only an incredible starter, but they have depth at the position, which you're not going to be on the top of our list unless you have more than one guy that can tote the rock and carry your franchise if you need to, if the first string were to go down. But to me, although this was a tough decision, I had to give the edge to the Ravens at number 1, and it's because of the depth. Because when you look at Nick Chubb, the guy's incredible. I mean, he to me, you mentioned it before the call, he screams a Raven to me. I mean, the guy, he's just a heck of a player. He can explode and get you the long touchdown. Also, he can run with power. And then Kareem Hunt coming over from the Chiefs provided excellent depth. That guy can do it all as well. I mean, he's excellent out of the backfield catching the ball. He's just an excellent player. But to me, that's where the list ends for the Browns. You got great number 1 and a great backup. But for the Ravens, on the other hand, they have Mark Ingram, who we saw the impact he made right from the play 1, really, for the Ravens. I mean, he broke a long play just to start his Ravens career, and he never really looked back. The guy was good all year. He's an incredible leader in the locker room as well as a great player on the field. He runs with power. He showed everybody this year that he can catch the ball in the backfield, which I think was kind of unknown because of the amount of all those years in New Orleans. He had Reggie Bush. He had Kamara. So he had other guys that would take over that role. But I think he showed he can do both. And then when you look behind him, the draft pick of J.K. Dobbins was, I think, a perfect fit for the Ravens. A guy that is very familiar with this offense. A guy that can kind of do what Chubb can do as far as he can hit the home run ball. He can also run with power. And I think he's a little underrated as far as his pass catching ability just because he didn't do a ton at Ohio State. But I think he can do that as well. But then after you get those 2 guys, because I think both rooms have a great 1 and 2, but after that is where it really separates the Ravens from the rest, is Gus Edwards being their number 3, a guy that's shown that he can be a number 1 in your offense, certainly in the Ravens offense with the threat of Lamar going to the outside. He's incredible. I mean, he was our third leading rusher last year and had over 750 yards. So he showed that he could step in if Mark or JK were to go down and be more than serviceable. He can be, he's a guy that he just has that innate ability to never get tackled for a loss. And people can say that that's a scheme or that's this, that's that. Look, there's been a lot of people that ran this scheme, and he's the only guy to break those records as far as never being tackled for a loss. And I think that can't go unnoticed. And then the fourth guy being Justice Hill, a guy that has a lot of upside. I don't think me and you are too high on Justice Hill, but he had shown some flashes and some versatility as far as being able to help in the return game. So to me, the depth of the running back room gives the edge to the Ravens because really you can argue that the Browns 1 and 2 are equal, or maybe even some would say better than the 1 and 2 of the Ravens. But the 3 and 4 kind of make them go over the hump.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of those things. So it's interesting. We have the same exact order, and for the same exact reason, really, because you think about that video that came out with Kareem Hunt, who not necessarily. I'm not talking about like the case with the woman or anything like that, but when he got pulled over and didn't get ticketed because that was a really nice cop and had some illegal drugs in his car. You're just one moment away if you're the Cleveland Browns from another one of those to where you have Chubb and nothing else, right? Like the cupboard is pretty bare after that point. So because of that, just like you said, you got to give the edge to the Ravens. But I will say this: I think that Chubb is the clear-cut best running back in the division.
Fair.
Yeah, I think he reminds me a lot of a young Jamal Lewis.
Yeah, he's a great back, no doubt.
Yeah, so I agree with you. Same exact order, same exact reasoning. The depth is ridiculous, and I'll say this about Justice Hill: he is a great number 4. He is a great number 4, and like you said, he has a lot of upside. But at some point, potential has to turn into production.
Yeah.
Does. It can't look pretty on paper. We saw what happened last year. The Browns look pretty on paper, right? It's got to turn out on the field. So, I agree with you 100%. I think that this was a juicy one. I think it's surprising that we had the same ranking. But, I think it makes total sense. So, you guys let us know as well. Is your ranking the same? Where do you put the positional groups as far as running back goes in the AFC North? Are we underrating Anthony McFarland? Do you guys think he's going to come in and make an impact for the Steelers? And should they be number 3? Who knows? I want to know. Glenn wants to know. Give us your thoughts. Make sure you subscribe. And so that way you can stay up to date on these positional breakdowns in the AFC North. And we'll talk to you guys soon.
See you.